it's annoying to me as someone, and you might feel the same way, but sometimes when national figures are like, the Bills are awesome and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, but as soon as the Bills have some struggles, or if there's another team that's awesome, it's like, well, that team's really good and this guy is all pro and all this stuff. And it's like,
they
pander.
Place.
It's very pandering. And so that does frustrate me, but
just say Kyle Brandt if you're going to say it. I mean, that's what those guys do. And
that doesn't sound like the national.
That's fine. Yeah. Like they make a living off of that. And I totally get it. But I guess
you mean they just spew out hot takes?
Yeah, you would be perfect.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, welcome to the Buffalo Plus Podcast, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fades. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We always appreciate it.
We're already hitting things?
What'd you knock down?
Was that me?
Was that me? I don't think that was me.
I don't know.
I thought that was you. Want to thank everyone for joining us. Please be sure to drop a comment, drop a question in the chat. We see MC saying hello and go Bills, and that's not you. So there's that.
That's true.
So let's first start with where this Buffalo team is at. The Bills 3-0, a blowout against the Jags on Monday Night Football. Primetime once again up next. Sunday Night Football against Baltimore. Mike, this Bills team has got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I think because of the way they've played, it has really been a team effort. Complementary football, as Sean would say. And they've done it. And look, Josh has been fantastic. You expect him to be really good. This year to do it with all the new players has been special. They look prepared. They look very well coached. I know it's only 3 weeks in, and I will tell you this, that the Cardinals are the best team they've played so far.
Agreed.
Miami wasn't great coming in, and they're worse now, and Jacksonville's just a mess. But the Bills helped put both those teams there.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't think they've played any really good teams, but the way they beat them is what good teams do to bad teams.
Yeah.
They didn't just squeak by from the second half of Arizona on. They have been a dominant team that looks like the most. You grabbed a coin?
I was just going to, yeah.
Did I say something?
No, I was just.
I got.
So in case people don't know, the coins are
like
I just
PTSD.
picked no, I just was gonna play
the coins are for our crutch words and crutch phrases.
And we're throwing it in the jar.
And we throw it in the jar, and then each represents $1, and then we're going to give money to charity at the end of the year.
I'm sorry, you were go off king. I just
now I'm rattled. That's it. Bad teams, good teams make bad teams look really bad, and that's what the Bills have done so far. Nothing more that you can ask for. Josh, everybody wanting him to step up. And I thought he did that in the second half against Arizona. Wasn't really asked to do any of that against Miami. And then just was the complete show in Jacksonville. Against Jacksonville.
We got some comments coming in. Paul King saying, Dan is right. Good teams beat down bad teams.
Yeah.
Shout out Daryl. Can't get enough of Buffalo Plus.
Oh, thanks, Daryl.
And then MC asking score predictions for Sunday night. We will get to that in a moment. We'll have that later on tonight. But Mike, I mean, the play of Josh Allen so far, we've been talking about it off camera, and the word that comes to mind is just controlled. I feel like we've seen him play really great, obviously, throughout his career, some of those backyard football plays. But I feel like what we're seeing from him now in this season, he still makes the spectacular plays because he is Josh Allen. But the way that he has been able to pick apart defenses, to me, the poise that he has shown has been impressive.
So I'm going to do a Dan Fates here, and I'm going to make an analogy that is not football. And I'm going to say if you have a sports car, really great sports car, very cool.
This is like a Rick Riley analogy.
You drive it around because you're the coolest guy going. Nice and controlled, whatever. But when you need to step on the gas, you can blow by everybody.
Would you say like a Tesla? Those do go fast.
They do go fast. There are moments. I've been told.
Got him.
You know what I'm saying is you're not driving around all day in your sports car going 90 everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You're cool. You're Josh Allen, in control, knows how to handle the car. When he needs to step on the gas, he has. And when he's done that, it's been special. It should be, and I don't mean in moments like once a game, but it should be 5 to 10 times a game, not 25. That's too taxing on him. And you referenced beating bad teams, beating them by a lot. That's what they didn't do last year.
Yeah.
They won, but everything was a slog. Every game, every chance to win, even when they did win, was tough. That hasn't been the case this year.
I used to make that sports car analogy when they would give the keys to it to a guy with a learner's permit who was Ken Dorsey. So I think Joe Brady deserves not as much credit because he's not on the field, but keeping Josh on script, keeping him poised, in control, I think he deserves a lot of credit. I'm not saying I'm like Colin Cowherd where he said Josh is coordinator dependent, which is really dumb. But it's the fact of the matter is that when you have that marriage of a great play caller with an elite level quarterback, this is what you get. You get fun, dynamic football. Even without the talent necessarily around him, you can still be a high-powered offense.
I just wanted to add, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, has been, right? I'm not saying over these 3 weeks because Josh has been the best. He's got Andy Reid as his guy. Do we hold that against him? That doesn't mean he's dependent on his. I think Patrick Mahomes could be really good anywhere. He's all-time great with Andy Reid. It's okay. It's okay to give him a good play caller and a guy who can put him in good spots. But then it's up to the quarterback to make the plays. Josh has made the plays.
He has. And you talk about Mahomes and obviously the accolades that he has. Right now, Josh Allen looking like an MVP.
He's the odds-on favorite. And I'll say this. The gap between Mahomes and Allen is close. The gap between Allen and whoever is third is large. It is them and it is everybody else, whether it's Burrow, whether it's Lamar. It is a big drop off. Josh is much closer to 1 than he is to 3.
Yeah, that's fair. My one question is how, like, we've seen the phrase everybody eats, and Josh threw 10 different receivers on Monday night. I mean, it felt like they were always getting in the end zone. We've had players step up when we weren't even really expecting it. Do you feel like this is sustainable, Dan?
When you're winning, everything's fine. And there hasn't been necessarily that moment yet where they've needed a guy to make a play. Josh has been the guy that made the plays against Arizona when they needed it. Besides that, everything has been on script. Everything has gone to the game plan. I don't think they've had to abandon anything. Those changes on the fly help when you have elite players around you that you can say, hey, we need something. Let's go to this guy. That right now probably is Khalil Shakir. That's probably the go-to guy. But right now, is it sustainable? I'm not 100% confident in that. I think there needs to be, right now they have like 2 great jabs. Like they can hit you with James Cook in the running game. They can hit you with a 10-play, 70-yard drive. Maybe there needs to be a little bit more explosive plays, but as of right now, it's working.
The other thing is we have to also be aware that there's more tape now out on this version of the Bills. Now, fortunately for the Bills, Jacksonville doesn't have the Sunday ticket. They don't watch any of the other games. They came in with a terrible defensive game plan and then never adjusted. And the Bills just beat it senseless during the game.
It was so funny sitting in the press box and going, they went empty backfield. Josh instantly, it was a pass play called on 3rd and 11. And you knew the second the ball was snapped, Josh was just going to run up the middle.
We knew it.
Like
we've seen him do this kind of stuff before.
The only people that didn't know it was Jacksonville sideline. That was the only people in the stadium that didn't know that was coming. They are a bad football team.
Yeah.
And I'm betting them this week.
Oh, okay.
See, that's the way
you
it
bet
goes.
the Broncos last week, so nothing is too off limits. Okay.
Credit to you.
Yeah, credit to me.
This is an interesting question from MC. What are your thoughts on national media finally giving Josh some flowers? To me, it's like, yeah, of course. They have to talk about it because Josh has been fantastic. But I expect when Josh has a bad turnover or if the Bills lose, it's what's the next best thing. It's what's hot at the moment.
That doesn't sound like the national media.
I mean, that's why it's annoying to me as someone, and you might feel the same way, but sometimes when national figures are like, the Bills are awesome and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, but as soon as the Bills have some struggles, or if there's another team that's awesome, it's like, well, that team's really good and this guy is all pro and all this stuff. And it's like,
they
pander. Place. It's very pandering. And so that does frustrate me, but
just say Kyle Brandt if you're going to say it. I mean, that's what those guys do, and
that doesn't sound like the national.
That's fine. Yeah. Like they make a living off of that, and I totally get it. But I guess
you mean they just spew out hot takes?
Yeah, you would be perfect. No, I just
there's the open.
It is a little frustrating, but Josh Allen says he does not care about the accolades.
Okay.
And I agree with that to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But these guys all have egos. And you can't tell me that Josh Allen doesn't want to be MVP.
I agree 1,000%. Of course he wants it. He should want to win it. Why not? They're not mutually exclusive. In fact, it helps you a lot if you are on a great team and you're the best player. That's how Lamar won last time. I mean, it really is.
2-time MVP winning Lamar.
As Josh mentioned. But he doesn't pay attention to that kind of stuff. It's okay for him to want to win it. He doesn't need to change the way he plays. He's playing phenomenally well, picking his spots, throwing, running, getting his teammates involved. And right now he's the front runner 3 games into it. But to me, it's cool if he wants to win. When you look at all the all-time great quarterbacks, pretty much they win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And deserve to win it. I think he certainly could have won it up to this point. But he can do that and still lead the team to maybe the best overall record in the conference or certainly a division title.
Yeah.
But you want to know what helps win you the MVP? Having a good coach, having a great defense, a complete team that gives you the number 1 seed, and that's how Lamar's done it.
Yeah.
So it's a total, Sean loves the complimentary football, but this is like his dream right now where he will complement the special teams, helped set up the offense last week and all of those things. So it all of that gets melted into one. And I'm with you. Josh doesn't say things offhand. Like he doesn't say anything off the hip. He doesn't shoot from a hip and say something that he doesn't mean or that he hasn't thought.
He is very media savvy.
So
1,000%. Also, I'm seeing people coming in like the only accolade Josh wants is the Lombardi Trophy. Lyle Shoestein saying that. Absolutely. Of course. I totally.
That's number 1.
That's number 1. 1,000%.
1A is everybody wants to win the MVP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. Again, these are guys that are highly competitive. They want to be the best at their job. And if Josh was like MVP or Lombardi, obviously it's Lombardi 1,000%. But we'd be knocking it if we didn't say that MVPs are incredibly important to a legacy in the career that Josh Allen wants to build. Yeah. So there's that. They don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Jenna's spicy.
Yeah.
No,
I love it. I love the takes.
I just sometimes I get a little frustrated.
Usually I have to turn your mic up. I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
Look at that.
Jenna's cooking.
Okay, so this brings up an interesting point, though, because Josh was just named AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And then the week before that, it was obviously James Cook. And then in week 1, it was Greg Rousseau. So a Bill being named an AFC award in the last 3 weeks, I think that says a lot about where this team is at. Definitely more of like this team has been able to play well. And it's interesting that it's both sides of the ball. But we kind of joked like, is this team more complete than we thought?
Yeah, because Josh could have won it week 1 and Jamarcus Ingram could have won it.
Yeah.
When they won in Miami, that it ended up being, I mean, they have gotten great contributions from other players. It was funny because they won with defense in the first game, even though it was Josh and the offense that took over. And then they won with offensive player in the second game when we know the defense dominated that game.
Yeah.
So to your point, Jenna, not only are they winning these awards and getting the notifications around the league that they have top players, but they're doing it certainly in a team way. Yeah. I mean, every one of these wins has been complimentary. Probably the second and the third wins, the blowouts more so than the first.
This just brings me back to when we were at training camp and we were sitting there talking with Matt Beauvais of WKBW in Buffalo, but we were sitting there kind of joking about the team.
Right.
And we said, this team can go 7-10. They can go 13-4. Like, I don't really know where this team's going to be. Like, we sat there and looked at some of the talent and we said, like, you know, these wide receivers going to pan out through 3 games. Josh has risen. He has been the tide that has risen all of the boats around him. The defense has not missed a beat without 3 of their 3 best players not being on the field. Sean's been great. Babbage has been great. Brady's been on track to be a head coach now somewhere. It's just everything for the most part, minus some injuries, has gone as the Bills fans could have dreamed.
Jenna, if you looked at just the pass catching stats for this team,
they'd be an 1-2 team.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you look and you go, okay, Kincaid, underwhelming so far. Shakir, nice.
What about MVS?
Wow, she is feisty.
You got me spiced up. Yep.
Wow. MVS had a catch.
Haters.
That's what you say when you don't have a comeback.
You guys are stupid.
Okay, I didn't mean it. What were you saying? If you
I don't know. It was
you looked
too
at
good.
the box
no,
score,
if you just
would be like,
of the pass catchers. If you
Yes.
just looked at that,
that's
if
fair.
somebody said after 3 games, this is what they're going to have done, you'd be like, okay.
That's
But
right.
that's not been the case.
Right. And Shakir has been awesome. And he is kind of breaking the stereotypical mold of what you think a number 1 wide receiver is. But it's not like he's going to put up 1,500 yards this year. Like that's not the trajectory that he's on. I know it's through 3 games, but that's why when you said, like, is this everyone eats
sustainable?
I'm not really sure. They haven't really been tested.
Well, we'll see
heading
on
into
Sunday
this
night.
week.
I got a hot take.
Oh, okay.
Josh Allen's going to throw a pass to Khalil Shakir this year, and he's going to not catch it.
That was good.
That was good.
That is kind of a hot take.
Right now, Khalil Shakir is at an NFL record 27 consecutive catches.
Regular season
record. If he's tied for the record.
One behind.
One
Mike
behind?
Thomas. Yep.
Thought
Mike
he was
Thomas,
tied.
Michael Thomas from
7. So he can pass him.
Okay. He can pass him with
2 catches.
2 catches.
On his
Either
first
way.
2 targets.
Either way. He's 14 for 14 so far this season.
Yeah.
And he has like 125 yards? He's gone like 40, 50, and 50.
Yeah.
Maybe 130. Bad podcasting.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, it's on talking more about the offense.
Yeah,
the offensive line has been playing very well as
fantastic.
well. Josh was so funny in his this week his press conference. He's like, I know I won the award for AFC Offensive Player of the Week, but I wish we could give it to the O-line, the big guys up front.
Has anybody ever seen what they give them for AFC Offensive Player of the Week? Is it
just like a sheet of paper?
Is it like
it's a diploma? Like when you got your teeth brushed?
What does he do with them?
Perfect attendance at
I think
school?
he has 13?
He has 13 of them.
He has the most since he came into the league.
So what does he do? Say they give him, they have to give him something, right?
Really?
Don't they give him something?
It's like a coin.
It's
Pat
like
on the
one
back?
of those, those like ribbon looking things.
Yeah.
Yeah. They give
like
him
a field day ribbon.
Good job. No, but I mean, he's done
You
it
read all your books this summer.
13 times. And none of them this year against the Dolphins.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
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 His teammate
James
got
Cook,
one,
yeah, I was
right?
to say James Cook won that. No, I mean I think you have to give Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown also has been playing very well. The Bills obviously paid him this offseason, a guy that we kind of talked about of the Bills really like him. He had the back injury. We felt like, they really like him, but we haven't seen much. But for him to play the way he has over this last stretch and going back to the end of last year.
We often talk about reasons and excuses about why somebody may not be performing. And Gabe Davis, his ankle was more of an excuse. And then Spencer Brown, they kept talking about his back and his back and his back his second year when he really struggled. That seems to be more of a reason, not necessarily the excuse of why he's not playing well. And he has been no pressures, back-to-back games on 30-plus dropbacks. So he has been phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connor McGovern.
Hasn't been a bad snap.
No. Yeah. And the offensive line in general has looked, they had a couple of false starts early in the first game. If you remember, they looked a little off.
When they should have played in the preseason.
Don't do that.
God, think how good they'd be. They'd be 4-0 if they played in the preseason.
Savage. No, they played well. They have.
Yeah.
No sacks.
And your favorite offensive lineman has been strong too in the interior.
Osiris Torrance.
Now I forget how to actually say his name.
Same.
Osiris Torrance. Yeah.
I called him Cyrus O'Torrance once. Made him Irish.
Yeah. That's amazing. Only you could do that, Dan.
No, they've been good. They've been very good. And I mean, I've heard a few people around the league talk about them as maybe right now playing better than any offensive line in the league. 112 points on, well, not every one of them's on offense. They scored on defense, but 112 points leading the league and doing it with they rarely punt. They haven't turned the ball over. Like all those things have gone very well so far.
Complimentary football.
Yeah.
It's so cliche when you say it, but when you see it, you're like, this is absolutely a winning formula and how the Bills can get to the places that they want to go. All right, let's talk about Sunday night because that will be the biggest test so far this season. Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, the reigning MVP right now. We heard the Bills talk a lot about that this week at practice. Dan, I'll start with you, actually. Just what do you see from Lamar? I mean, this Ravens team, they're 1-2 on the season. They played a tough game against the Chiefs, lost. Yep. They did not look good in week 2, and then they lost to the Raiders in that one. And then they won against the Cowboys, but that win didn't probably leave the best taste in their mouth.
No, and I think they were good enough to win against Kansas City. I think they were good enough to win against the Raiders.
That's the best they played.
That's the game they let slip away. And they're, again, a toenail away from beating the Chiefs or putting themselves in position to. They would have gone for 2 for the win. So they're kind of an interesting team.
Self-reporting.
When it comes down to this, because I think they're the Baltimore Ravens. They're always going to be physical. They're always going to, everybody that we talked to this week talked about how they want to dominate the line of scrimmage. That's nothing new. That has been the Harbaugh, Baltimore way, AFC North football. Lamar still is kind of confusing to me in the sense of, I'm not trying to knock him as a passer. Well, like there are people that say, oh, he's just a running back. No, he's not. He's a great quarterback. He's won MVP awards. I still think it's a win when you get him to throw the ball. I think he's that dynamic in the open field with the ball in his hands that if he can get it out of it, Mark Andrews hasn't really done anything. They haven't really gotten anything going in their passing game. They've won by Derrick Henry, some pretty, I wouldn't say good defense because they've made enough plays against Dallas, not down the stretch. That's why it's kind of tricky to figure out what this Ravens team is.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Also want to shout out Zinni. Love the show. Go Bills. A $5 tip. So we appreciate that. That's very nice.
They've made changes. Their defensive coordinator, Quinn, was a player. Now he's moved up because they lost Mike McDonald to Seattle as a head coach. They have Roquan Smith. I mean, they have Kyle Hamilton. They are 2 special players in this league, but they do seem a little off. They're playing like a defense that isn't sure. There was a play in the Dallas game. Roquan Smith, who's as good a linebacker as there's been in the league, you could tell on one of the pass plays by Dallas, he thought he had help behind him. They got a couple of young guys back there, and he was frustrated. They gave up a touchdown. Hamilton does it all for them. I mean, he is the guy defensively. Yeah, he's a heck of a player. But they just seem to not have that Ravens defensive identity yet.
That's where we disagree, because I still think their running defenses, statistically, it's great. You and me can disagree about...
We disagree because nobody's needed to run against them.
Interesting.
But also those yards that they've given up. They have the number 1 rushing defense and the 32nd ranked passing defense.
Because everybody's just passing and getting multiple yards passing.
But
they've given up the most explosive plays.
But there are a lot of who cares yards in that Dallas game that skew the stats.
See, but I hear it's hard because you say like who cares, but then that game got close at the end. So those are who cares.
But then they made plays. And they won the game. And they got stops. They missed an onside kick.
They gave up an onside kick and then they let.
So are you sitting there going, Dallas has a great defense because they put 3 drives together in the second half when they couldn't do anything in the first half?
Who, Dallas?
Dallas. So you're complimenting Dallas for their second half when the Ravens
I'm not even complimenting,
because it's who cares stats.
But you don't have to be complimenting
I'm
Dallas's
not complimenting.
defense.
I'm saying is Dallas did not run the ball in the second half. And the Raiders
are down 24 points.
Right. The Raiders did not run the ball. Baltimore's offense gave them the lead, played great in the Dallas game, played very well to begin the Raiders game. The other teams didn't really have an opportunity to run the ball that much. And they made Kansas City.
So Dallas didn't have any opportunity to run the ball in the first half.
Yeah, they had some.
I just think they
abandoned it.
Yeah. Which makes sense to me.
And I think the numbers are skewed.
But that's exactly.
But I don't think that makes them a great.
Why are you getting so
I don't think that
upset?
makes them a great running defense.
I just think it's like, you could take it as
I don't think they're that bad in the pass defense. I think it's just
because the numbers are skewed.
Well, the same thing would apply to the run defense.
So you just said the numbers are skewed. Which would therefore mean that maybe they're not as good at the run defense because the numbers are skewed, because teams would abandon the run because they're trailing by a lot.
But I think you're focusing on the second half defense being bad when they were so good in the first half, they took Dallas out of the game.
Yeah.
You could say that, but the numbers are still skewed regardless.
I think the Ravens offense took Dallas out of the game in the first half. They were great in the first half. Baltimore's offense. They just walked up and down the field on them.
It's only 3 games. Numbers are skewed. Pops Mafia saying
so.
That.
Let's see. That may be the case.
You could say that about the Bills. They blew out the Jags. They have one of the highest points scored per game. It's because they had a blowout win. I think the Bills are good, but maybe they're not going to score 34 points per game, which is their average right now.
And going after 2 weeks of the year, the Bills had thrown the least passes in the NFL.
Right, but they also had to come back against Arizona.
They did. And then the second game, they basically...
context, I'd like context to matter.
Well, you're the one saying context matters, but then you're talking about how the run defense is so good for the Ravens. Is that not right?
I think their run defense is good. I think their pass defense isn't as bad as the numbers say.
I agree with that their pass defense is
because what I was upset about is that Ravens defense, their numbers won't look as good, especially in the passing game, because they were who cares stats.
But I think the Ravens' run defense probably looks better because teams were abandoning the run because they were down and they didn't want to eat up the clock.
But if the run defense was so bad in the beginning of the game, why didn't Dallas?
Because that game got away from them.
Yeah, and by the way,
which can happen.
If you watch that game, Dallas had the ball, or Baltimore had the ball for. I mean, they drove down the field on every possession, so they kept Dallas off the field. So,
I think. You're going to laugh. I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. I just don't think the Ravens run defense is as good as what's being said. And I don't think the Ravens pass defense
is as bad, or defense
is as bad.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere in the middle. But I think there is more of an opportunity for this Bills team to capitalize through Josh Allen's arm and using guys in the middle of the field than opposed to the run game that we've seen in recent weeks for Buffalo.
Because I think the Ravens have a pretty good running defense. Can't that...
James Cook's going to tear him apart.
I hope so. What's the over? Hammer it. I don't even know where to go after that. All right. Let's see let's look at some questions or some comments. Josh Vaughn saying hello. Dallas is... Oh, Pedro. Thank you, Pedro. Shout out. $5 for a super tip. Go Bills. Thank you for all the great content. Uncle Dan's Dallas -5 or New York ?
Oh yeah. Ooh, that game tonight.
That's tough either way.
Yeah.
I bet Devin Singletary over 59.5 rushing yards.
I'm with you on that. I think they are going to run him.
Kincaid will have a big game. Pops Mafia.
Brock Bowers had a massive game against them. I think that's something that they can expose.
I'm calling a Dawson Knox touchdown this week. Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
You're
right.
2 for 3.
What do you mean?
You had a Mac Hollins touchdown. You had a Ray Davis touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, let's talk a little bit about atmosphere on Sunday night. Because what is it? The darkness game?
I think something like that. It's not like a...
They don't call it like a blackout game.
I don't think it's a blackout, no.
It is a cool stadium. I like Baltimore Stadium a lot. I like a lot about it. Fans are on top of you.
First overall travel pick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dan picked this
Fans are on top.
Baltimore's
great. Great press box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the food in the press box? I'm not even trying to be funny, but is it
There'll
good?
be crab cakes.
There'll be crab cakes.
Yeah, see, that's good stuff.
Crab cakes and football.
That's what Maryland does. Okay, someone keeps Jenna and the brown vest on field ankle bracelet, a great look. It's not an ankle bracelet. Okay, so you have
Great comment.
So you could be on Dancing with the Stars then, right? Doesn't that one woman have an ankle bracelet
Anna
on?
Delvey or whatever. Yeah. She has it like bedazzled, which is incredible, honestly. No, so if you're on the NFL sidelines, you have to wear an NFL armband.
They're blue.
They're blue. They're like that Carolina blue color. But some of us are not as yoked as Dan Fates. So it doesn't fit around my arm. So I put it on my leg because...
And then you got told, you can't wear it on your leg.
Yeah, so then it was just slipping down my arm the whole time. So
That's a good comment.
Yeah.
It's not an ankle bracelet. It's just the armband that I can't fit around my arm. So
yeah, the Ravens are 20-3 at home in prime time since John Harbaugh took over. They are very good in this spot. They are 8-1 when they wear their blackout jerseys at home. Their only loss was when Lamar didn't play last year against the Steelers. I think that was the game that we were in Miami for when Tyler Huntley played.
Yes, Pro Bowl.
Because we were all waiting to see,
yes, that's true. Yeah.
Because if the Ravens had won, the Bills would have already been in. So they are really good in this spot. Harbaugh talked about it this week. Lamar also said, like, there's just a vibe when you look around and everybody's in all black.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it, again, for as great as an environment as Monday night was, and how the crowd helped the Bills and gave them so much energy and really, I think, put the Jaguars out of this game by the second drive, this will be the complete 180 in this one. And this isn't a place like Miami, where it still is a great atmosphere. The Sunday night game for Week 18 last year, all of those things. This is not a place that the Bills have historically dominated.
Yeah, a hostile environment.
Can I just say this? And I said it when we were down there. It's because it's a different fan base. This is a loyal, provincial, Baltimore, Maryland, home and go and no. I know from being in Jersey, it's similar. These are really good fans. Some of them go back to the Colts days, and really tough. Miami is a place. The Bills walk in there, they never feel intimidated.
Yeah, they feel at
home. They
home.
love playing there. They play well. Baltimore's a different breed of cat here.
Yep.
This is different.
Yeah. It's always, when we were there in 2022, it was so loud.
Yeah.
That was incredible. That game was awesome.
I just think of Stavi. Baltimore. I just think
that's
Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Yeah, no, that'll be something. That game was very close back in 2022. The weather was terrible, but Tyler Bass
20-3, I think it was early. Baltimore.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Bills came back.
Yeah.
Trey
Hoyer
had a big interception in that game.
Hoyer.
And then Hoyer late.
Yes.
Tremendous. Ran all the way across, took a big shot, hurt his ribs.
Yeah.
Took the car to Kansas City, the van to Kansas City after that, which was incredible. And then Josh drove him down the field. Bass kicked the field goal to win it. And I believe maybe Singletary took a knee late running. And then he set up the Bass kick.
I just remember Bass making the kick, which kicking could be very important if a lot of people expect this to be a close game. And it is interesting. Damn it.
That's my luck. Oh, you missed.
I missed. That's embarrassing. It is something to note because for all the... I almost did. I was like,
here, I'm throwing one in for you.
It is something to note because I feel like Justin Tucker. Yeah. We've talked a lot about Tyler Bass and some of the kicking woes and where your confidence is at, but Ravens fans are watching this real time in Justin Tucker for a guy that was, I mean, you go out there and you're like, oh, it's Justin Tucker, one of the best kickers. And then, Mike, this season, he has been struggling.
Even last year from past 50 yards, which was his strength. It was comical.
Changed kicking.
Right, because now everybody was like, oh, you got to make these from 55, 56, 57. I think he's only made one in the last, since all of last year and into this year. We talked to Sean Stepner from WMAR in Baltimore. If you want to hear that interview, the full interview's on the channel.
It's a great interview.
He really goes into depth on it, but he is funny. You'll hear him in there. See, Sean used to work in Buffalo.
Sean Stepner, yes.
Stepner, and he said he used to work in Buffalo, and when he was here, like, Brian Moorman was like the star of the team. And he's like, it came here and he was like, this is weird. It's the punter. Because he's on billboards and he's doing commercials. And he's like, Justin Tucker has been that guy.
Yeah.
He's everywhere. And he's beloved in the community and he's made all those kicks. And he thinks they'll have more patience with him. But there is a point with kickers. He's had the leg. Mm-hmm. He just hasn't been as accurate, which is kind of wild because Baltimore, when you have that faith in your kicker from distance,
changes
the game. It just does.
Well, Harbaugh said after the game this past week on Monday that it was a technical issue.
Yeah.
So that's something that
technique. Technique. And
I feel like that is.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You made me question because you're like technical is like a technique.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good talk. See you out there. So embarrassing.
Talking is hard.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler Bass. made his kicks last week. No, I mean, we put him on a little bit of alert.
He missed the extra point, but yes.
Extra point was blocked. And I believe Sean McDermott said that was technique involved with he must have been talking about the O-line, right?
Yeah, I think Grable at that point had gotten injured, so they thought it was something around there.
Yeah. But then his kicks, and I really liked the last one, even though the game was over, boomed it through.
Yeah.
So the
every kick is clutch. Every kick is pressure for Tyler Bass at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, Nikki G with this comment: Codrington better than Hardy.
Yeah.
I mean, Codrington.
Deontay Hardy is the returner for Baltimore, so we'll see him.
Codrington has been a surprise. I feel like.
Yeah, he's been solid.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that rookie jitters. He hasn't been indecisive on some of the decisions. I think he's been phenomenal. Sneaky pickup so far this season for the Bills.
This could be a little different in that environment.
Yep, that's fair.
And any weather and all those things. But so far, he's been, like you said, smart. He picked that one on a hop. He had 2 good returns in the last game. It was impressive.
McDermott complimented his decision making.
Yep.
Which, credit to me.
Go ahead.
Are you ready for credit to me? No, you guys can start it off.
Go ahead.
Credit to me. I went 7-2 on my picks this week, so pretty pumped about that. Nailed the Denver Broncos pick. So
you did.
We have 11 more picks on Uncle Dan's best bets for this week. That will also be out on Friday morning. So I'll give credit to me. I was bad the first 2 weeks. I had a pep talk with Remember the Titans. They gave a speech to my picks. We got the win.
Okay.
It worked.
It did.
Yeah.
We were all laughing about his video too.
It was very funny.
It was very funny.
Yes.
Dan was right, ? Jake Wiz saying Dan was right about his best bets. My credit to me is a bit more personal of just like, it's probably a debit to me, honestly. I am washed after Monday Night Football. I'm so tired. We didn't get back till 3 a.m. on Monday, which is not a big deal. That's like expected for night games. Dan, I don't know how you do it with children, but I'm exhausted and I feel like I've been a slug the rest of the week because
and I wonder what
I'm washed.
One of the listeners and the people that subscribe, and if you haven't subscribe now. The fact of, I think other people were asking me too, like I was up at 6. Like we didn't go to bed till 3:30. We're up at 6 with the kids. I think a lot of fans, if you went to the game, you probably had kids at home. It's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have children and I don't know how you do it.
You just learn.
I am so tired.
You going to be okay?
I'll be fine, but I just, credit to me, I'm admitting I'm washed. It's fine.
Credit to you.
This is a little different one, but I wanted to bring up something in football. Credit to me. I run this football pool, and Dan and Jenna could have been in it, but they declined. That's fine. We run it. I run it all the time. Well, I asked you guys, do you want to be in it?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be in it? You're like, no, I'm good. I'm in enough stuff. Fine. It's just a survivor pool. Pick one, be done. I've been running this for a few years, running it back when guys used to pay me in cash and we'd write up the names on the wall. Now it's all run. You go on an app and you do it. The reason I wanted to bring it up is we've never had a year like this. There was 190 people in our pool. 3 weeks in, there are 8 people left in the pool. 8.
That's nuts.
All you do is pick one winner. No point spreads. You just pick a team to win. You can't pick them again. It's only the first week. First week, we lost like 70. Second week, we lost like 70. And then the third week, we lost another 40, whatever it was. We're down to 8 people out of 190.
And are you still in it?
Nope. I am out.
Mike's sitting next to me in the press box going, the Bengals are really going to knock me out of my own pool. I can't believe they're going to do this to me.
How do you lose at home to a rookie quarterback, though? Jaden Daniels looked really, really good.
That was exciting.
Yeah, and the Bengals are 0-3.
Shout out Path to Fame Gaming. Credit to me, I drafted Shakir. Yeah, he's probably feeling pretty good. I'm one of 2 left in my survivor pool, says Zinni. Dang.
Yeah.
Jenna is tired. No, I'm not high.
Yeah.
Damn it.
There was one other, there was a comment in here, Dan, which is kind of funny. It was, I got to see who it was. I think it was Richard who said, go Mets.
That's
in the comments.
That's uncalled for.
But Dan has forgotten about baseball.
Yeah, I don't watch the games anymore. So we're fine.
That's true.
That hurricane, everybody stay safe. That hurricane really snuck up on the MLB, postponed the 2 biggest games of the season.
Is funny.
Not that I was going to watch them. Wasn't going to watch them.
So he says, shout out Shane Russell, $10 tip. Got here late. Just wanted to say that I appreciate you all and thank you. We thank you. That's very nice. Thank you, Shane.
Game picks?
Game picks.
Jenna goes first.
Credit to Jenna, game day ankle bracelet. Not an ankle bracelet.
There are some cities she's not allowed in, so that's why she doesn't go.
No, that's not true. All right, let's start with you.
No, let's start with you.
Okay, I actually have the Bills winning this one 27-17. I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. Drinking the Kool-Aid. Josh Allen has been incredible. This will be definitely a test for this Bills defense, especially with them being depleted, with Taron Johnson being out, Terrell Bernard as well. But I think the Bills defense, the Bale Inspectors, the Dorian Williams are better equipped against the run, you would say. So my thing is, I think the Bills are going to win this game. It's a tough environment, but I'm really confident in Buffalo right now. I think the Bills are going to attack the middle of the field. I think Khalil Shakir is going to have another big game. And like I said earlier, I predicted Dawson Knox touchdown. So we'll see, but I'm not overthinking this game. I think it's Bills.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I think the Bills right now certainly have the better quarterback. I think Josh is playing better than anybody in the league. I think they are very well coached at the moment. And I think Harbaugh is a really good coach, but right now it's a little off with his new coordinator, some changes on the defense. Offensive line, I guess they got their guys back, so that should be a little bit better. They're still good. I think by the end of the year, this team I think they'll still end up winning that division. I think they're off to a tough start because of some of the changes. They've lost some people, and their offense the passing game just does not look right. They're going to need to run it. I think the Bills will stop it. I have the Bills winning at 27-21.
Weather does not look great, so that might impact this game.
Because I'm shooting it.
Yep.
Weather was great for you on Monday night. It was.
They were talking about rain.
If the cloud, if I was on the field, that cloud would have just sat over.
When did the start raining?
As soon as Dan was in the tunnel as the game was ending, the rain started again. Honestly, the weather for Monday night was perfect. I was a little worried because it was raining during pre-games, but I barely went out there. And then for the game, it was.
What happens if your ankle bracelet gets wet during the game?
Stop it! This is how.
Go ahead, Dan.
I need to bulk up.
Yeah, so we have a competition on the show that the loser.
What's your challenge?
You guys got to catch jugs machines.
We got to catch out of a jugs machine.
Yeah.
You just don't hit it straight on.
No.
Okay.
Maybe that you guys just have to walk into a jugs machine, see how it feels. That's what it'd be. This is so I
you want to win the contest.
I really want to win the contest. So I'm not happy about this because my heart and my brain are telling me two different things. The Bills are rolling. Everything has gone well. I have concerns in this game going into this environment where the Ravens have been 20-3 in primetime at home. I think this could be the game where, as well as I think Bale Inspector and Cam Lewis and some of these new guys, Dorian Williams, have played, this will be the biggest test. I have concerns there. I think this game's really close. I can see it going either way. I don't bring any joy. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong here. I have it being 24-23 Baltimore. I don't know. This just feels like a Baltimore home win in a gritty fashion. This is going to be a game decided at the line of scrimmage. For as much as we've complimented the Bills and their offensive line, if there was one flaw that I had over these few wins, it's been the rushing defense. I thought they got gashed by Miami. It just kind of got overlooked in what they did when Tua threw the ball. Is there a good comment?
Yeah, Pedro says, Jenna, don't invite Dan to the wedding. Because the rain. It's an excellent comment.
That's actually a really good comment.
That's a phenomenal comment, Pedro.
So I have the Ravens winning this one by a point.
Okay, I have two questions. One, you said your heart and your head. Which one is going, which one?
My heart says Bills.
Okay.
That's where I think, and then just looking at this game again, I think they can prepare. And I know the Bills have stopped Derrick Henry before in the past. They have never allowed Lamar Jackson to throw for 200 yards in a game against him. It's a tough combination that I just think this might be the game that they really miss Terrell Bernard. They might really miss Taron Johnson. This might be the game where they play smash mouth football with Patrick Ricard and those guys, 300-pound fullbacks that they haven't seen this year. That's what Bale Inspector hasn't seen before. I haven't seen a ton from Daquan Jones yet this year. I think they did kind of get run on by Arizona in a physical running attack that kind of got away from it at the end. My one flaw has been the defensive line's ability to stop the run. That's where I think this game is decided.
Derrick Henry has gotten after them.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had a big run.
Just ask Josh Dorman.
Yes, that one. And also in that Monday night game, the one where the Bills went for it on the 4th down late. Henry had a big touchdown run, just basically ran by everybody. He's still really good.
I'm not some Bills hater. I love the way they're playing. This is not an indictment on the team. It's just the spot that it feels like in this moment.
And it's the beginning of 3 tough ones in a row. Tough games. No team in the league has this. They may play 3 in a row. They're not playing at the Ravens, at the Texans, at the Jets.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And
this is a gauntlet.
Yeah, we were talking about this before. I don't mean to tip picks ahead of time, but you were kind of leaning like, hey, the Texans, they could be a tough match for you. And I like their matchup with the Texans more than I like their matchup against Baltimore.
Okay, so
how many people say I'm stupid?
Yeah, I'm not gonna read those. But Matt Hino Music says MVS Legacy game incoming.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I figured you would like that.
It'll just be a me podcast. The next, if MVS goes off for 5 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns, it'll just be me.
And the Bills win, and you're behind the group.
Shout out NTJ Hughes, $5 tip. With all these different players, they can get so many activities done. So many actives. I don't know what that means, but I might also be reading this wrong because activities. But shout out the tip because we appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's Mark C, $5. I agree. This game is weird. It reads like a setup. What's the line?
The Ravens are 2-point favorites. And they have the Bills are getting 70% of the bets. The Ravens are 60% of the money.
Say that one more time.
Bills are getting 70% of the bets.
So that tells you, right, that the bets, the smart money is on the Ravens because they bet more, right?
So the small bets, the $20, $25 bets are all on the Bills. The bigger bets, the sharp money, the professional gamblers, the $10,000 bets, all of those are on the Ravens.
Okay. Oh, it was a Step Brothers quote. So many activities. Got it.
Wow.
Makes sense. Sorry, out of context, it got me. Sharks are betting Ravens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see.
I hope I'm wrong.
They're not always right, the Sharks.
Nope.
That's why they keep building those casinos.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You got to keep the lights on somehow.
Okay. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
No. Why don't you get a nap in after this?
I know. The ankle bracelet. People think I'm high. I'm saying I'm tired. Someone says,
you said you were
large
tired.
mouth hunter. Jenna wants Doritos. What's your favorite kind of Dorito?
I don't like Doritos.
That's wild.
Cool Ranch.
Yeah, same.
I will eat any chip ever made.
When you get a Cool Ranch that's like covered in the stuff, it's a great chip.
I don't know. That's a little too much for me. It's a little too rich for my taste.
I don't like Doritos. Yeah.
What?
I just don't.
Favorite snack? Go.
He likes
tortilla chips.
I was going to say, you like chips and salsa.
Yeah.
That's sickening that I know
I have the right answer. Dots. Pretzels. Dots pretzels.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
I thought you meant those candies.
Those suck.
The ones on the paper that you're like chewing paper.
No, those are terrible. The seasoned Dots pretzels are elite.
Yeah, those are really. I steal those from your desk all the time.
All the time. You go to Costco's and get like the big like garbage bag size ones. Those are incredible.
The original seasoning.
Original seasoning. I know there's the cinnamon sugar ones. Not
those
as
are
much
good. But
you start talking food, Jenna wakes up.
She's already booking reservations for Houston.
I know.
Well, Houston is a food city,
and we got a good breakfast place in Houston.
Yes,
we got to find that
pickle
place.
Chips. I
gotta go there.
And we will be maybe at a casino.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Miss Vic's jalapeno chips. Elliot, those are fire too.
Yeah, kettle chips.
Kettle chips are always
Kettle chips are great. Don't like Doritos. Don't like barbecue chips. Don't like salt and vinegar.
I have a hot take. If you eat Funyuns, I have a lot of questions about you.
No.
Somebody was eating them in the media room.
No,
What? You're not going to throw them under the bus?
Who?
JS.
Really?
Jay Skursky?
No.
John Scott.
Oh, John Scott.
He's very excited about the Funyuns with the Jersey Mike subs. This is why you come to the Buffalo Plus. You come for the Bills information. You stay for the snacks hot takes.
Jim says, clearly the way to Jenna's heart is through her stomach. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you make bread today?
No, I'm making it tomorrow.
You said you were going to make it today.
I know. I was a slug.
She was too tired.
I've been loving cooking lately and baking.
All right.
Although Zach said I had to stop making sweet treats because he's like, we got to get in shape for the wedding. We can't have a cake every day. That's fine. All right. Regular Doritos and bison dip is fire.
Yes.
Jason, that sounds
Yep.
really
My daughter
tasty.
loves that.
Yes. All right.
Over 600 people for most of the show. Really appreciate it. As always, tell your friends. Thursdays, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time.
And we do believe we should be able to. Sometimes there's some logistics, but our plan is to be live Sunday night, a week from Sunday, a week from this Sunday
in Houston,
right before the game.
Yeah.
So that's hopefully, but some of that is logistics. But for this week, we'll be down there. We'll have reports from Baltimore and get you ready, and then we'll do our post game.
Yeah. All right, cool. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We just hit 33,000, so that's really cool and genuinely appreciated. So thank you, everyone, for your support. All right, for Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. Plenty more Bills, Ravens preview stuff on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike did a great interview with Sean Stepner, a guy who used to work in Buffalo, now covering the Ravens. Highly recommend that one. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you for watching the Buffalo Plus channel presented by Connors and Ferris. We'll see you next time.